I enlisted for 3 years, and Truman gave me another year.
So were you stationed on this ship the whole time?
Yeah.
And what was the name of the ship?
Salem, USS Salem. You know, I was in the gunnery office, in the 5-inch guns. And the division officer came up to me and says, "Hey, Gay," he says, they want some help down in the dental office. You want to go down?" I said, "Yeah, sure, I'll go down."
So you weren't looking for different duties. No. They just.
But he just picked me out, and there it was. I went down, which surprised.
How many crew members?
About 900.
900.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
That's a lot of teeth to clean.
Yeah.
And the only air conditioned.
It was the only air conditioned ship in the Navy.
Wow. And you were on that ship the entire.
4 years.
Okay.
All my service was in the Mediterranean.
Wow. How do you feel that your service impacted you throughout your life?
Well, a fellow said one time, you go in a boy, you grow up a man, not a man. You're in the world and you're making an impact, and with a family and that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. So the service was good to me, mm-hmm. And I met my wife during that time, and we've been married for 67 years.
Wow. Congratulations. That's quite an accomplishment. How was it for you transitioning out of the military back into civilian life?
I didn't really think it was a challenge. It was just something that sort of a routine event, mm-hmm. Because my time was up, and I could go on to other things, and so.
Okay, it was a fairly easy transition.
Family and career, and right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What do you think about the young men and women serving now?
Oh, I think they're just great folks. They're showing that they really have a country to depend on. And that's the important thing. It's been a good run.
Uh-huh. It was a good experience for you.
It has been, yeah.
I was a sonar man on a ship.
Sonar first class on the USS San Diego.
Searched for bad people underground, in the water,
The enemy.
Okay. The enemy, yes. I knew how to make bing. I used to bing through the water. Yeah. And wait for that. If I heard the echo, I knew where they were.
You liked the work that you did on the ship?
I did, yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was lucky. I was way up from the United States. I was way over in other countries.
Pacific, yeah.
In the water over there.
Okay.
Oh man, I can't believe I did that, but I did.
Imagine not getting home all that time.
I lived to do that. I was lucky. I was a pretty good trumpet.
You wanted to be in the Navy, damn it.
So you had been playing the trumpet before you enlisted?
Yeah. Oh, yes. Okay.
And that gave you the opportunity to, did you start up your own little band with other naval?
Oh, yes. I play all kind of music.
Okay.
I was a pretty good player.
So you returned to civilian life, but continued to serve through the reserves. What did that mean to continue in the reserves? What kind of commitment did that require?
I go to some of their things. They had meetings and things like that. They called me and asked me to come, and I said okay.
What would you say to a young man or woman who was thinking about getting into the service?
To do what you can do.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to do something, do it well.
Mm-hmm.
Proud to serve.
Proud to serve and proud of your country.
You betcha.
When you think of boot camp, what are some of your memories? Just, I know it must have been extremely challenging.
Yeah, but they was preparing you to go over and do what you had to do, fight or whatever. And but I got into teaching, and somehow I don't know how I got in it, but I got in it. And I went to school up there for ammunition, and that was it.
That was it.
Yeah, and then when I went to Korea, and if I'd have went to Germany, I'd have had the same thing. So it wouldn't have made no difference. But I ended up in Korea.
Yeah.
There was only 7 of us.
Wow.
But what we was doing actually, I mean, we was in buildings or tents, and the Koreans was taking the stuff apart. We was telling them how to take it apart. And once we told them how to take it apart, they took it apart.
Mm-hmm.
And we told them what to put in it and put it back together and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And outside of that, no, we didn't. That was it.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't have a bad job. I mean, as far as I knew what the other guys was doing, but as far as myself, I didn't have a bad time. And that's what we did every day. We worked 8 hours or 10 or whatever. Come home, we'd eat or go back to the barracks, eat and sleep or whatever you're going to do. You know, play cards or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't do nothing.
It was just part of your responsibility at that
That's
time
all.
in your life.
Just a day's went in, just a day's work or whatever you want to call it. I don't know what you'd call it. So I went to school up here. I stayed up here. And, well, I stayed up here all my life, really.
Met your wife.
Yeah.
Yeah. And had your son, Don.
Yep. And that about the size of it.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Paul Carlson, and like I like to say, my number is 596-8977, United States Navy. I'm from the Vietnam era, and I was in for 4 years on my contract, and 6 months that the government said, we really need your extension. So they extended me for 6 months. So I was on what's called the Westpac, or Western Pacific, on a ship. USS Halsey, DLG-23. My USS Halsey was out of commission in San Francisco, the Bay Area of San Francisco, and then home port was down in San Diego. I kept in touch with quite a few of the fellas and their spouses, and so we all went on our separate ways, and kind of lost track of a lot of the folks. Like I said before, it was an interesting experience. Would I do it again? Yes, I would. I'm proud of what I did. I'm proud of the ladies and gentlemen I served with, and I would watch their back, and they will watch my back. So that's a whole story of the service. I start off in just a crew member on the first ship, and then I went up to other areas of expertise, as they call it, and became into their office and was doing payroll for a while. So I had a well-versed career. Some of the things I've learned through being a volunteer with the veterans is one of the things I ask a family as we know they're going, Dad or whoever it is passing, do you know where the paperwork is? We made up a packet. I think she gave you a copy of the packet. And it has telephone numbers in there. So you call down and they look up the history and send you a DD 214, guide you through the steps of what your husband or whoever it is entitled to. And so those are some of the things that, learning experiences that I've picked up over the years, that, how to help somebody besides the patient, besides the hospice person, but the family needs guidance too. And so that's where I love to work with the families also.
What motivated you to join?
I just had all the conflicts in China and Japan and places like that, and we wanted to do some help.
He told me that that he joined because he knew that he might be drafted.
Oh, okay.
So he wanted to choose what branch of service he would go in. So, and he wanted to be a Marine. So he wanted to choose. So he enlisted in the Marine. He wanted to be a Marine because he knew they would be trained the best.
Okay.
And he wanted to be well trained.
Okay. So what was boot camp like for you?
Well, we were studying a lot of things that happened, either military or disciplinary action, rifle fire, and machine gun fire, all kinds of action. You learn how to use that piece of that weapon, so if somebody charges, we could have something.
So then when you were assigned after that, where were you stationed primarily?
California.
I was in California.
He joined in 48.
Yeah.
And then he didn't go overseas till 50.
We ended up getting pulled into Korea.
You got pulled into Korea.
You were in the 1st Marine. What regiment? Were you in the 5th Regiment or the 1st Regiment?
In the 5th.
The 5th? If you ever read up on the Chosin and what they went through during this battle.
Yeah.
And they even use it in the military, the Marines. They use that Chosin battle for training for every new Marine coming in, even after that. Chosin is very north. It's as far north as you can go before you hit China. But he's a survivor.
Yeah.
They lived close to each other when they were growing up, obviously. Actually, they both signed up after Pearl Harbor, but they couldn't take everybody that signed up. They both then got called. John's trained Tuskegee, Herb's. He was trained in like New Mexico, Arizona, and Texas because the Flying Mother was better. And he got to pick what he wanted to fly. And he picked the B-17, and they honored that. So he trained, and the day after his 24th birthday, it would have been Monday, he flew a brand new airplane, and I should be able to say it because he'd say, flew from Nebraska to here to Bangor, Maine to Marrakesh. He can rattle it, I can't remember it all, and landed at Foggia, Italy. And that's where he flew his 35 missions. B-17s didn't fly fast because they were such big airplanes. So that's when the P-51s came in and protected them. and
that's
shot
what
and that's
Johnny
where
was
Johnny flew. So, they flew, and then they came back, and Herb had different jobs. And then, like I said, in '98, he saw they were honoring the Tuskegee Airmen down at Fountain Square. And it was a Saturday. He read it in the Enquirer. So that was the beginning of their friendship. He always, I'll tell you, I would do it all again.